May your beliefs govern your behaviors. Hi, I am Dr. Burgundy Collins, and welcome to Chiropractor in Real Life. Well, on this channel, I share the highs and lows, successes and failures of running my own solo chiropractic practice. On this channel, I also share insights and mindsets on how we all can live our life a little bit better. Now, I just opened up the video with a saying that I grew up hearing my entire life. One of my favorite aunts used to say this quote all the time. I'm going to repeat it because it's worth repeating. May your beliefs govern your behavior. Now, my auntie would say this saying all the time. She said so much, in fact, that it was on her home answering machine. Do you remember answering machines at home? Yeah, that is back before we even had cell phones. You had to reach somebody at the crib. That's how long she had been saying this saying. Now, my auntie is long gone, but the phrase and the saying still lives on. Now, as I was growing up, this phrase honestly would go on one ear and out the other. But as I grew up, it started to make more and more sense. Now, I grew up in a Christian household, so whenever I heard it, it always was from a biblical or a Christian perspective. So basically, in a nutshell, my aunt would say this phrase basically to remind us, if we're Christians and we believe in the word of God, then our behaviors should reflect that. And as Christians, we should, number one, for example, believe that it's not okay to lie. So therefore, we shouldn't lie. We also should believe that killing is bad. So therefore, we shouldn't kill each other, right? So basically, letting our beliefs govern our behavior. Now, again, I grew up hearing this a lot, but now you're actually hearing that. We're all actually hearing that now. A lot, in fact, on social media. There are lots of amazing content creators and also some who are not so amazing who are discussing the topic of the law of assumption. But what we're going to talk about today in particular related to the law of assumption is identity shifting. And that's probably why you clicked on this video. We're going to discuss today what is identity shifting and how you can identity shift to basically reinvent yourself and be a better version of yourself, although you're quite amazing right now. But let's get right into it. All right, and if you're not familiar with the law of assumption, basically the law of assumption states that whatever you assume or believe to be true is true to you. Okay, so if I believe deep in my mind, deep in my soul, deep in my subconscious that I'm the best chiropractor in the world, then that's what my world should be reflecting back to me. Now, very often we are experiencing a life that is maybe not the way we're too crazy or happy about, right? Especially this time of year. It is just January 2025, and a lot of us have just finished writing down our 2025 New Year's resolutions and goals, okay? Now, ain't nothing wrong with writing some resolutions, right? Even though most of the time we fall short. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging because I write down my resolutions and I write down my goals, and I wrote them down this year. And it's all in the quest of becoming a better version of ourselves. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? But if you want to be successful, let's consider the concept of identity shifting. Now, what the heck is identity shifting? Like, oh my God, am I adding something else to your to-do list? Absolutely not. In fact, you're already kind of partly, more than likely, participating in some type of identity shifting. If you have made a conscious decision to do something a little bit different going forward, or from January 1st up until now going forward, then you're already doing identity shifting. But let me explain it a little bit to you, just so you can not only do it, but you can do it in a more concise way that can make it successful for you. Now, basically, identity shifting is taking one idea of yourself and shifting it to another concept or idea of yourself. Now, let's say, for example, that you're kind of identifying yourself, or somebody is identifying themselves as being somebody who has horrible luck. Nothing ever works out for them. But going forward, they want to believe that or experience a life or a world where they do have luck. They're the luckiest person. Everything always works out for them, right? So they're going from one identity of nothing ever works out for me. I suck. I never get good parking spaces. I never win the lotto. I never win anything. Nothing ever goes my way. To now being somebody who always gets the best parking space, always gets the best favors, always wins every time they play a game. So they're going from unlucky to lucky. So they're shifting from this identity to that identity. Now, to probably make it more closer to home, Say perhaps a person is identifying as being someone who maybe isn't so healthy, maybe weighs a little more than they want to weigh, probably has bad eating habits. Yeah, can you relate? I can relate a little bit. And now we want to shift on over to being somebody who has amazing health, the perfect weight, amazing, the best ever eating habits. So we're changing or shifting from one identity of somebody who is maybe not doing the best when it comes to that area to being somebody who is perfect or amazing in that area. So the question is, how can I do that? How can I shift? I do have this goal. I've written it down. I think I'm going to knock it out, but how can I actually shift my identity? Because I want you to realize that however you identify yourself, it also absolutely determines how far you're going to go in that area. So it's important that you identify yourself the right way. Okay, so there are two ways that you can shift your identities. Now, we're all probably more familiar with the first way because that's the way that I'm used to doing it. The first way is to change your habits. Now, changing your habits can be honestly kind of forceful, right? And it requires a lot of discipline. An example of changing your habits. So say you do want to go from being this person over here who doesn't weigh what they want to weigh and doesn't really have the best eating habits and maybe doesn't work out to being somebody who is, on the other hand, somebody who does have the good weight and the better eating habits, etc. So a habit to get you from here to here, you're telling yourself, I need to get up every day. I need to work out. I need to exercise. I got to get some working out in, right? Work out. Then I got to maybe stop eating certain things, right? And then maybe eating more things, right? Right. Maybe not eating past a certain time, maybe, right? And then maybe also like drinking a lot of water, right? Right. So these are all habits. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat better. I'm gonna drink more water, right? These are habits. But those habits require some discipline, require some work on your behalf, right? Require some work on my behalf because I actually want to lose a few pounds myself. That's something I really want to do this year. That I'm doing this year. But if you're like me and you lack discipline or discipline isn't quite where it needs to be, like if you can rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 for discipline, if 0 is it ain't happening, and 10 is it can't get any better, I'll rate myself for discipline in that area to be like a 2, right? And if my discipline to achieve and develop a new habit is a 2, it ain't gonna happen for me. Okay, let's just be real. And it may not happen for you. I don't know. But that's why resolutions exist, because we're all trying to do a little bit better, right? So if you're used to doing it the habit way, maybe the second way is better for you. Now, the second way is the topic of the video, identity shifting. We're going to shift your identity by simply shifting how you think of yourself. Okay? It's that easy, right? Yeah, basically, it is that easy. You just change how you think of yourself. But the question is, how do I change how I think of myself? If on one hand I want to, lose 10 pounds, would I just tell myself I weigh 10 pounds lighter and that's going to automatically happen? Well, kind of, sort of. Not really, but kind of, sort of. This is how you're going to shift your identity. Instead of going a habit route, you're going to do it this way, okay? Number one, you're going to picture and just get an idea of this new identity. Who is this new person who weighs 10 pounds or less, right? Who is this person who has accrued $10,000 more in their savings account? Who is this person that now has this new, amazing, fulfilling job? What does that person feel like? How does that person look? How does that person behave? What time does this person get up in the morning? What kind of activities do they do during the day, right? So first, get an idea of who you would be if you were already or had already achieved this goal. If you were already this person, just get an idea of what that person looks like, right? So take a second, just sort of think how dope and amazing you are, how good you look in that outfit, how fat your checking account is. Woo-wee. Yeah, I like what I see. Okay, so now that I have the idea, I know what she looks like. I'm really digging it. The next step is to write it down. You have to write it down. Now, I like to write things like this down in areas that I call my second brain, right? I already know how this version of myself looks. I already know how she operates, how she got it going on, but I can't necessarily list it all in my brain, right? So that's why it's important to write it down. You write it down on things that you consider your second brain. So like a journal or a notes app or a notebook that you use for things like this, or email it to yourself. I personally have written down the version of myself, how amazing I am. I'm smart, I'm successful, I'm fit, I'm financially responsible, I am trustworthy, I'm a good steward of money, things like that. I have them all written down in my journal, right? I also have that written down in the notes app on my phone, right? And then I also have my goals written down, and then I have my plan of action. So for example, for me, one of my goals, or how I identify myself, is somebody who is fiscally responsible, who has always has more than enough money, and who is really, really good at money. So basically, I'm not the version of myself that blows money on Chick-fil-A and dumb, not dumb, but just things that I don't need, right? This version of me knows how to take care of money and save money and spend it wisely, right? So in in order for me to do that, there needs to be action, right? So in ways I'm doing that is this year I'm implementing a no buy year. So I've written down a no buy year, and I've written down what that looks like for myself. Okay. So for no buy year, that means I'm not buying any clothes or shoes at all. Oh my God. And I almost did it today. I was in Abercrombie, well, not in it, but on the website, and they had a sale. It was my birthday, so I got 20% off in addition to the sale. And I had a few items, and I was saving so much money. And I was about to hit that checkout. And I said, no, 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 no. We're in a no buy year. I just had to hit the X and get myself off that screen. And it hurt me. It hurt so bad. But then it felt so good because I knew that I am the version of me who is wise with money and buying a bunch of crap that I don't need from Abercrombie and Fitch. No matter how cute, I could do it out. Right? So, anyways, how to even get on that topic? I just got so caught up in the shopping. I was there visually. Anyway, so the version of me that would have bought those clothes and checked out, no, we're not doing that. Okay. So that's part of my no buy year. That's going to help me become a more financially responsible person, more fiscally responsible person. And that's the version that I want to identify myself with. And that's why my goal is to save a certain amount of money this year. And the way I'm doing that is by not spending money on clothes and shoes, right? So I have all that stuff written down, right? And that comes to the third point. So number one, I visualize or picture who I am as this new person with these goals achieved. Number two, I have written it down. Number three, I go over and I read it. I read this daily. I read it. I read again. I'm successful. I'm fiscally responsible. I am healthy. I am fit. Then as I'm reading it, I repeat it. Most times I say it out loud as I'm reading it. And then they become affirmations. Affirmations are just thoughts that we repeat to ourselves to reinforce into our subconscious mind who we are and what we want to experience. So now I am embodying this new identity for myself. I'm shifting from the version of me that spends money recklessly, that doesn't weigh exactly what she wants to weigh, to being this person who is more responsible with money in ways when I want to weigh. Okay. I'm this new version of myself simply by embodying it mentally. And as I embody it mentally, my behaviors are reflecting my beliefs. Now, when an old thought comes up, so say I'm at work today, I'm looking at my schedule for tomorrow, and I notice I only have 2 patients on the schedule. And a thought comes in my head that says, gosh, you suck. Why do you only have 2 people? This is horrible. We're not going to make any money. Nobody likes us. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep this business. Blah, 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 blah. Whenever I get the first notion of that thought, I stop it, I reject it, and I instead say an affirmation that is the opposite of that. So if the thoughts come in that we're not successful, we suck, we aren't going to make any money, we're going to be poor, I stop it, I say, no, I'm successful, I'm financially responsible, I have more than enough. Everything always works out for me. I have so many patients. Everybody loves me. Everything is just great. So when your old thoughts pop up, you just stop it, reject it, and you flip it into something positive, a positive thought, which is basically an affirmation. So that is basically identity shifting in a nutshell. I know there are lots of videos out there that are discussing identity shifting, and it all sounds super confusing, very woo woo and very esoteric. And I'm not knocking how people are teaching this, but this is the way that I have interpreted what identity shifting is. And instead of me trying to identity shift using habits or going habit first, because I know my discipline, because honestly, my discipline was where it was supposed to be. It wouldn't even want to be, it wouldn't be a question. It wouldn't be something I want to accomplish because it will already be natural to me, right? Working out every day will already be natural for me, so I wouldn't be trying to lose 10 pounds, right? Having a certain amount of money in my checking and savings account would be natural for me. I wouldn't need to implement any changes because I will already be there, that person. So using habits or going focusing on habits doesn't work for me. So identity shifting for me works better if I could just change mentally how I view myself, how I write it down, then I read it, and then by the writing and the reading, I'm thinking and contemplating and writing down plans of action, actionable things. Then how I believe and what I believe about myself, right? My thoughts are now my behavior. All right. So this is how I approach identity shifting. I hope my auntie's saying of make your beliefs govern your behavior. I hope that is a great way for you to understand this concept of identity shifting. If you understand, if you got it, I'd like you to comment down below. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe, please like, please share. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate you. Again, I'm Dr. Burgundy Collins. This is chiropractor in real life, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.